All right, it's that time again, time for another Sunday video. I'm on a day scout and I'm taking you with me. So let's get to it. This skillet right here is going to replace the previous one. That was a 6-inch skillet. This one here is 8 inches across. We have a 6 1/4 base, and we have an 1 3/4 side walls. We also have that classic removable handle. It's exact same size as the other one, so it's a one handle that fits all. So you can carry both pans with you into the woods, and one handle if you choose to. Best part is, it fits inside the Corporals Corner skillet bag, just like the others, along with a 6x12 grill and a full-size spatula. Boom! The skillet bag and the big boy skillet are available right now. There's 100 dropping to my website. That link is in my video description box. Jump on them because they're going to go fast. Now before we get started, I want to go ahead and talk about what's going to happen here. This video right here is going to be a prelude into next week's video. I'm hoping next week. I want to return to that squirrel camp and I want some squirrels. But I bought a new firearm, a new rifle. And I want to go ahead and talk about that in this video here and show it and compare it to my current rifle, the M6 Scout by TPS Arms. I want you guys to see the differences involved in both of these firearms and what I'm doing. We'll set up some targets out here and we'll shoot, and later this evening on my own I'm going to scout the area out and find out where there's squirrel nest and a lot of squirrel activity, and then come back next week. I like breaking these videos up because that way we're not going to spend 20 minutes just talking about firearms, 20 minutes talking about a backpack and what it can carry, and then 20 minutes over here on the overnighter. Most can't watch 20 minutes, so I'm not going to dump 60 minutes on top of you. We'll break it up into separate videos. If you're watching the overnighter and you want to talk about the firearm or you want to learn about it, you can go back and watch this video. If you're watching the overnighter and you want to talk about the backpack, you can go back over here and watch this video. So that's why we're doing things the way we are, and we're going to continue doing so. So with that, those that watch my channel over the past, I want to say probably 5 years, I've shown the TPS Arms M6 Scout. It's a takedown rifle, meaning that you can break it in half, take it apart, or simply fold it and stuff it into a backpack. So real quick, I'm going to show you that firearm. We're going to talk about it and then move on to the topic of this week's video. Here we have our TPS Arms M6 Scout or takedown rifle. It's an over-under, meaning we have a 22 long barrel on top, followed by a 410 shotgun barrel underneath. Now it's pretty straightforward. You can cock the hammer back. The top means the top barrel, bottom is for the bottom barrel. To load, simply lift your lever, it will drop down. There's your 22 and your 410. Next we have our rear sight. There's the 22, you flip it, 410 shotgun. And last but not least, and one of the most important features, is your ammo storage. Opening the buttstock, you have 2 compartments here, 22s and shotgun. I believe the barrel is about 18.5 inches long, and the weight of this thing unloaded is about 4 pounds. That's the downside. It's a 4-pound weapon. And in the scope of things, you know, I hear a lot of stuff online saying, well, it's just too heavy, it's just too much. This is 1 pound this, 1 pound that. Unless you're an ultralight hiker, 1 pound means nothing. If you're out there hunting, this is lighter than a regular shotgun, and it falls right in there. It gives you the best of both worlds, a 22 and a 410. So at 4 pounds unloaded, maybe 4.5 loaded, I'm okay with that. Maybe even 5 pounds if you put a sling on here. You know, for me, being prior military, I'll take a 5 pound weapon any day of the week over some 22 pound M249, right? So if you look at it like that, it's a good deal. Now, one thing on here that I've never liked is the trigger. When you look at this, you have two options: pull straight up or get your finger on this small nub right here. And it's very difficult sometimes. Any slight movement left or right, it throws the shot off. So you have to learn how to actually pull this trigger or squeeze it gently, that pause between breaths, and just try to squeeze that nub and it will go off. The trigger pull is very sensitive, so there is that to make up for this mechanism. I have no idea why they decided to do that. It was something to do with Vietnam, and this is where this actually came from. It was a pilot weapon. If the pilot went down, they had a weapon that they could actually feed themselves with. And you want to think that it's for gloves, but the opening here isn't even large enough. It's barely large enough for my fingers. So I would like to actually know the actual reason for doing that versus putting a regular trigger on there. I personally feel that if it had a regular trigger, it'd be even more accurate. Speaking of accurate, another downside is your rear sight. As I showed you earlier, you can just flip it for top or bottom. There is no left or right movement at all. So trying to dial this in, it's using Kentucky windage. But once you go through between 5 and 10 shots for practice, you know what you have to do, you know where you need to put your cheek at, and you can actually get that pretty close, and it's almost accurate every time. But it's that learning curve that you have to go through. So is it detrimental? Is it a deal breaker? No. You have the best of both worlds, a 22 and a 410 shotgun. So let me try to get this thing in the frame. I gotta put my hand to try to cover these leaves so it doesn't blur out. But you're gonna notice that front sight tip, or that post, it's actually a triangle. And what a lot of people don't know is from the tip to the middle portion, that's for your top barrel. And then from the middle to the bottom there, that's for your bottom barrel. So if you don't know that and you have no clue and you start blasting rounds off, thinking that you're gonna place this portion in the middle while you're trying to use the top barrel, you're gonna miss every time. That's something to think about. Also, it's pretty wide. So looking through that small hole, that aperture, it takes up most of the hole. I don't care for that, but it is what it is. Once you start adjusting your shots based on that method, the top to the middle, and then the middle to the bottom, it's pretty accurate. This wind is getting out of control. There's a storm coming in, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's supposed to rain here in a couple hours, so I'm hoping we can get through all this. But small game is where it's at. Rabbits, squirrels, possum, things like that. Rats if you had to. And a 22, in my opinion, is perfect for that, you know. The 410 on here, can you take down a deer? Yes. Coyote? Yes. If you had to. So again, you get the best of both worlds with this rifle. Downside is the price. Used one's about $450 on gunbroker.com. Brand new, they're like $650 to $700. So if you have that kind of money and you want to spend it, get one. I highly recommend it. And I have nothing bad to say other than, like I mentioned, the trigger and the inability to adjust the windage on your sights. But again, once you master that and you're able to see exactly where you need to drop that front sight tip, you're accurate. So again, 4.5 pounds, $450 to $650. Why not? Now here's my new one. This is the Little Badger, and it's a single shot 22. Now you can get these in different calibers. What I'm not going to do in this video is talk about rifle twists and different calibers, this and that. Simply go on the website, just type in Little Badger rifle or survival rifle, and you're going to get 20 different dealers popping up with all different kinds of specs. we're going to do just a down and dirty. Now this thing right here, again, it fires a single shot 22. It breaks down just like so. Weighs about 1.3 pounds unloaded, 1.5 loaded. Has the ability to actually break down and be stuffed away, or actually unscrew this right here and pull it off into 2 separate pieces. Again, 1.5 pounds loaded. Ammo storage right here in the buttstock on both sides. You're going to get 12 rounds, one inside's 13. We have an M1 sight. It's plastic. That's a downside, but it does work. And we have a front sight post that's stationary. Starting from the back, we have a wire buttstock. Saves a ton of weight. That's why we're coming in at 1.5 pounds loaded. Ammo storage right here, 12 rounds. I've never been a fan of these, and here's why. Yes, they're locked in there, but they do slide around. If something were to hit this like a branch, it can do something like that where the round could fall out. There's tons of accessories you can buy for this. Just go on the website, check it out. But standard, this is what you're going to go with. So, you know, you have that option. Now this is what we're talking about right here. We have an actual trigger. I can get my finger, I can set that right there, and I can actually just feel that and just squeeze, versus that nub that I showed you on the M6 Scout. Now here's your hammer. There is no safety. The safety is the hammer. So this thing will never move or go off as long as that hammer's not cocked. Once you cock the hammer, you're ready to fire. To break it open, you have a secondary trigger right there. And there you go. Now once you pull your secondary trigger to load or unload, it will hang like so. Pushing it all the way down actually pops the round out. And as you close it, it drives it home. And notice there's no gap in between there. Here's your rear sight. It's marked from 100 yards all the way up to 350. And there's your sight adjustment right there. So you can move this left or right and actually dial your rounds in. I mentioned before, this is plastic. This whole unit inside here is plastic. And that's a downside. So it could break, it could become damaged. Just be careful with that. You have these screws right here. All these pieces actually come off, and you have the option to mount a scope on top if you wish. Next we have our front sight post. Looking at it from the rear sight, this is really thin. So you actually have room on the inside to see your target, blur that target out, place that tip right on there, and that pause between breaths, squeeze that trigger. Now one added safety feature I will mention, and I showed this briefly, when you pull that secondary trigger and it opens, it's impossible to actually load a round inside there. It will not go in. You have to fully press the barrel down, and then you can load. And there you have a side-by-side comparison of both triggers. And there you go. Now, looking at the big picture, and that's what a lot of people fail to do nowadays. When they do and say things, or they watch a video and they're like, he said this, or he did that, or, you know, and they try to get you. Or you're missing the big picture. The big picture always comes down to one word for me, and I've preached this several times on my channel: intent. What is your intent? If your intent is to go out, and maybe you bought some hunting licenses or tags, and you want small game, and you're like, I want a squirrel, or I want a rabbit, I don't want to blow it in half with a shotgun, I'm just going to roll with 22s, then this right here is my first choice all day, every day. It's lightweight, 1.5 pounds loaded, and it will kill a squirrel. It's going to kill a rabbit. It's going to kill a possum. It's going to kill all types of small game. And it is accurate as hell. Just having this thing on 0, 20 yards away, you can take out cans, bottles, whatever you need. Most likely you're not going to be shooting 200 yards away at a squirrel anyways. So when you look at the big picture, you know, what's my intent? What do I plan on doing? And can I get by with a 22? Here you go. Now, if that same intent involves, well, I'm going to go out there for X, Y, and Z, but I might come across A, B, and C, and I might need some kind of heavier load. Well, then this right here is your choice. 4.5 pounds unloaded, 5 pounds loaded, 6 shells. You can also swap these compartments out and actually get another one of these and place it right there. Now I have 12, you know. So again, what is your intent? In my opinion, you can't compare these because one has a bottom barrel. Done. This is superior firearm right here. This is it. This is the go-to if you're looking for superior firepower. But when you take away the barrel and say, we're going to roll with 22s, I want something I can actually dial in if I'm missing. I can actually move that windage, adjust those sights left or right, get dialed in. It's lightweight. I can move quicker. It's not noisy. That's the shells and the ammo rolling around inside there, moving. So again, what is the big picture? Are you stalking prey? Are you sneaking up on something? Are you just sitting your fat ASS next to a tree like I am right now, waiting for them to come to you? What is the intent? They're both excellent firearms. Both of them will do Both of these are excellent firearms. There's pros and cons to both. Even the price. This one right here was $216 out the door. You can buy them used for $150. You know, $150 or $450. $200 out the door or $650 out the door. You know, again, what is your intent? And it's just like that. So look forward to that rifle beat in my videos. In the future, we're going to talk about air rifles as well. And anything that we can increase our survivability and secure food, I'm all about it. With that said, what else do we have going on here? Cup and bottle sets are back. I'm going to be dropping them weekly for the next 8 weeks, along with those 100 Corporals Corner big boy skillets. Yes, with the hybrid handle. I mentioned last week that right after Christmas, we're going to discontinue that model and make room for something else. So grab them while you can. Between now and Christmas, that's what, 6 or 7 weeks-ish, somewhere in there. So you have plenty of time. But grab them while you can. We're making 100 a week for the next 6 to 7 weeks, and we're going to discontinue it for something else. Once again, corporalscorner.com, and that link is in my video description box. And I almost forgot the backpack. It's going to go on sale Black Friday. So get on my email list at corporalscorner.com. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook as well, and you'll be notified. If you're on my email list, you'll be notified a week in advance, then 3 days, and then the day of. Boom, they're here, they're in stock. Get them while you can. On that note, let's go ahead and get out of here. With that, all the gear in my videos can be found in one spot, my website, corporalscorner.com, and that link is in my video description box. Now please do me that favor, hit that like and subscribe button, then ring that notification bell. Once you ring that bell, please select all notifications. And as always, thank you for your comments, views, and support. Thanks for watching. Get out in the field, have some fun. I'm gonna catch you next time.